live. How are we, lads?
Rowan David, CJ Moxley. Alright, we're just walking in now for the King Dragons and the Bulldogs come back. The atmosphere, the crowd is electric!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm Nick from Australia. Welcome to the Sunday Football Review for round 11 of the 2023 NRL season. We saw two games of football today. We saw the Knights defeat the Titans out at McDonald Jones Stadium in Newcastle, 46 points to 26. And we saw the Sharks defeat Manly out at Brookie, 20 points to 14. My name is Nick from Australia, and if you guys are brand new to this YouTube channel, make sure make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate that. And if you are a regular viewer of the channel, thank you very much for tuning in once again, and thank you very much for supporting the channel. Thank you very much. This is the Sunday Football Review. Hello to the live chat. Look, Melbourne Storm fans here. Jason Reader, William Pearson, Viking King. Hello, fellas. Hope you guys are doing well. It is currently 6:14 p.m., May 14, 2023. Now, obviously, this is the end of round 11, and a lot of people are asking me how I go with my tips. I got every single game right except for the Roosters. Fuck me, that was a bad tip Friday night. I got everything else right. Picked Melbourne, picked the Warriors, picked the Rabbitohs, picked the Cowboys, picked the Raiders, picked the Knights, and I picked Cronulla. So 7 out of 8, the Roosters let me down, but got the other ones correct. So a very good round of footy tipping from myself. But yeah, no, it was a fantastic round of footy. And we're now going to review Sunday football. We won't be live for a long time tonight. I'm going to review these myself, so a bit of a solo review. And we're going to go back to the very first game, which was a game that had no defense at all. Newcastle Knights 46, Gold Coast Titans 26. And the Gold Coast were in control of this game in the first half, and then Newcastle just got going. So first try of the game come through Dominic Young. Hastings poured a nice little kick in up in the air for Dom Young. He went over and scored the first try of the game. And then there was a try back there for the Gold Coast. Where are we? This stupid fucking... This is the worst app of all time. There we go. Apologies about that. Yeah, so Dom Young scored the first try of the game. Miller missed a kick. Newcastle fell 4-0. Great start for Newcastle. And then there was a penalty to Newcastle for a high shot. I think it might have been for Fafita, or might have been someone else. But Newcastle went up 6-0 after that. And then there was a try to David Fafita. The Gold Coast went down the left-hand side. Fafita went over to score. Anyway, we're leveled at 6 apiece at that point after 25 minutes. Pretty back and forth there. Then there was a nice crossfield kick from, I believe it was Tanner Boyd from memory. And it was caught in the air by Philip Sami. Sami ends up scoring for the Gold Coast. Gold Coast got a 12-6 in front. I thought Gold Coast were going to lead 12-6 at half time. And then Kalyn Ponga, he sort of there wasn't much on. He sort of just found a little bit of space there for Kalyn Ponga. He put a grubber kick through for Tyson Frizzell, who went over right before half time. We get to half time. It's 12-all. It was a really good first half. I thought the first 10 minutes of this game was absolute dog shit. I think both teams made like 3 errors each in the first 5-10 minutes. And then after that, it sort of kicked on. Entertaining first half, leveled at 12 apiece. Second half begins. Gold Coast go down the left-hand side for Khan Pereira. Finds the ball on the inside to Jaden Campbell. Jaden Campbell scores for the Gold Coast. Gold Coast go in front at 18 points to 12. Newcastle hit back through Greg Marju. Marju's brilliant strength for this try was absolutely outstanding. I thought Marzu did very well to score that try. A lot of strength there from Marzu. Gold Coast still lead though at 18-16. And then Kalen Ponga makes a bit of a line break once again. Ponga splits him, finds Bradman Best. Bradman Best scores for the Knights. Really good try from Bradman Best. What was it, 22-18 at that stage. Newcastle back in front. And then Kalen Ponga makes a line break, and he absolutely fools Jaden Campbell like he's nothing. Ponga scores a phenomenal try. Individual brilliance from Kalen Ponga. He wants to play Origin, and tonight, this afternoon, I thought Ponga was outstanding. Newcastle go 28-18 in front. And then Newcastle score a try that was fairly controversial. They go down to that right-hand side, and Gagai goes over to score. Was there an obstruction on Kieran Foran? Did Tyson Frizzell impede him? You know what? That usually is obstruction, but I think the thing that gives Foran away is Foran digs into the line and makes the tackle. He attempts to tackle Frizzell, and for me, it was a defensive decision. So I reckon the bunker actually got it right for a change. Newcastle go to 34-18 in front, and then this next try was insane. There was a kick from Lachlan Miller, and Fafita picks the ball up. David Fafita runs about 90 meters, scores an incredible try. So we get the 34-22 Newcastle, and then Newcastle put a grubber kick in. I think it might have been Hastings with the grubber kick, and you won't believe it. Knock on from Tanner Boyd. Great defense there from Jackson Hastings. Bradman Best picks it up. Bradman Best scores his second try of the game. Newcastle go to 38-22 in front. 40-22, I should say, Newcastle. And then, if you guys follow my multi on Instagram, I needed Khan Pereira to score. Khan Pereira goes over in the corner. Unbelievable. Wins me $400. So that was great to see. What are we, 40-26 at that point. And then there was a late try. I think it was a long intercept. It was a cutout ball from the Gold Coast. Intercepted by Dominic Young. Dom Young runs about, 100 meters. Dom Young scores. Full time. Newcastle Knights 46. Gold Coast Titans 26. The Gold Coast are just, again, I swear we say this every week or every second week about the Gold Coast. It's their defense that lets them down. The Gold Coast actually have decent attack. Their attack is very good. They seem to, the Gold Coast seem to know how to score points, but they can't defend. The Gold Coast can't defend for their life. It's so poor. Some of their defense today, I mean, Ponga went through them several times. The Frizzell try off a grubber kick, which was like 35 meters across field. An intercept like that at the end. I mean, seriously, some of the defense from the Gold Coast was horrible. To concede 46 as well is really poor against a Knights team that's been very up and down all season, Newcastle. I mean, they started the year off fairly well, and then they had that really bad period where they were in bad form. They had a lot of injuries. And then, obviously, Newcastle had the bye last week. A few of their players were allegedly in Bali, but no one really knows the full story except the Newcastle players. They come back from their week off. They're a lot fresher. They're ready to go. And their attack today in the beautiful conditions at Newcastle was very good. And the disappointing part about the Gold Coast is they had a very, lucky win, or whatever you want to call it, over Parramatta last week. So I think last week just proves it was a fluke, because how can you beat Parramatta and then you go down to Newcastle and you get thumped like this? It's really poor from the Gold Coast. So well done to Newcastle. I thought their attack was very good. Gold Coast had no answers. Kalen Ponga had his best game at 5'8" by far. I thought Ponga was outstanding. I thought Gagai and Best were great. I thought Dominic Young had a great game. Hastings was very controlling. Crossland was great. Frizzell was fantastic. Off the bench, and obviously Jacob Saifiti, Adam Elliott were very good. For the Gold Coast, some of their good players, obviously, I thought Jaden Campbell played well. I thought Brian Kelly was good. David Fafita had a great game in the back row. Cruz Lemming off the bench did some good things for the Gold Coast, but in the end, the Gold Coast didn't have enough. Newcastle get the win, 46 points to 26. My man of the match from that game, obviously, I'm going to give it to Kalen Ponga. I thought Ponga was the best player on the field, so Ponga, man of the match. and the Knights 46-26 win over the Gold Coast. And the final game of round 11 just ended before. Manly versus Cronulla. The Battle of the Beaches, a big rivalry game in front of about 11,000 out at Brookie this afternoon. Cronulla 20, Manly 14. Manly were horrible for a long time, but they were coming in that last 20. They just didn't have enough in the end. Let's go through the tries from this Manly Cronulla game. Let's get into it. So the Sharks, they obviously started the game off really well. They went down that left-hand side, and Royce Hunt with the first try of the game. I'm not sure what happened to Haumole Olakau'atu's defense, but all this talk about Olakau'atu playing state of origin, all this talk about him being the New South Wales right edge back rower or even off the bench, he needs to be better in defense there, because that tackle on Royce Hunt was a makeable tackle. There was no excuse for that, and to allow a front rower like Royce Hunt to score the first try like that was pretty embarrassing. So a horrible start there for Manly. Sharks go to 6-0 after 7 minutes. And then there was a penalty to the Sharks. I think Kelma Tulangi took someone off the ball or something, or might have been a high shot. Can't even remember. But anyway, it was a penalty to the Sharks. Hines still took the 2. Cronulla go 8-0 in front. And obviously, I did a live reaction to this Manly Sharks game. I thought to myself, Manly would want the Sharks to go for 2 here. So, interesting decision from the Sharks. Nico Hines takes the 2. Cronulla go 8-0 in front. Great start for Cronulla. And then in the 30th minute, Sharks go down that right-hand side. It's a simple attack. They just go through their hands. Hines to Kennedy, out the back, Ramian to Katoa. Simple shape, simple block play. Cronulla score in the corner for Sione Katoa, who just seems to be getting better and better the more football he plays. Sharks go to 14-0 in front. And right before half-time, there was a penalty because Ramian did a high tackle on Garrick. Paul Garrick and Parker were confident from Ramian all game. Especially Jesse Ramian, I must say, Jesse Ramian's a very good player. He's a world-class player. But some of the shit he does, he needs to get out of his game, man, because he has a lot of penalties in him. He has a lot of ill discipline in him, and he needs to get it out of his game because he does this shit all the time. So I do believe Ramian is a top 10 center in the NRL, but some of his discipline, some of his penalties he gives away, there probably needs to be a conversation there between him and Craig Fitzgibbon, how to improve that. So Manly get a penalty on halftime. They go for goal from 35 out on a tough angle. Garrick converts it. We get to halftime. It's 14-2 in favour of Cronulla. I thought Manly were lucky to even be in the game. I was like, fucking hell, man. Manly are only down by 12. They should be down by 20. The way Manly were playing that first half. Second half begins. Sharks go down the right-hand side. Britton Nakora makes a break down the sideline. Finds the ball back on the inside to Ramian. Ramian scores a very simple try. Poor defense there from Manly. Sharks go to 20-2 in front. And then after this, the Sharks just went into a different level, different gear. It's like they were in gear 1 and dominating, and then they went into like gear 4. It's like they dropped their guard a little bit. It was weird. So it's 12-2, back and forth for a while. Manly had a lot of fucking penalties, man. I will get the penalty count up very soon, but I think Manly had like maybe 5 or 6 penalties from the 55th minute to like the end of the game. They had a shitload of penalties go their way. It was weird. So Manly needed to score a try, and they finally do through Ruben Garrick. Manly go left side. Garrick goes over in the corner. I'm like, oh, finally, Manly are in. So Garrick scores for Manly. What would it be, 20-8 at that point, favour of Cronulla. Couple of errors on both sides, bit of ill discipline and whatever. And then a controversial try to Lachlan Croker in the 73rd minute. I honestly thought Will Kennedy held him up, but the on-field decision was a try. And with those ones where if the ball was grounded or not, you got to have conclusive evidence, and you've got to be 100% convinced that you can overturn the decision. I thought Will Kennedy did enough, but you couldn't even see the ball on the ground, so it's hard to overturn it. But the on-field call stays as a try. So Kroger scores. a try that was pretty 50-50. 20-14 in favour of Cronulla. Manly are coming for the Sharks here. And then Manly go down the left-hand side. Tackle free with about 1:20 to go. Tommy Turbo puts a grubber kick in for Saab. Doesn't work out. And then there's, 10 seconds to go. Penalty to Manly. A kick for touch. One last play. Cherry Evans puts up a bomb from, 40 metres out. Up in the air. Kennedy knocks the ball backwards. Dives on the ball. He's tackled. And that's the ball game. Sharks win 20-14. I thought Manly were very boring. Their attack at the moment is diabolical. They scored one try where they went left, and they scored one try that was arguably held up, but you take what you can get. Honestly, I want Manly to do well because I've got a lot of mates that are Manly supporters. I've got a lot of family that are Manly supporters. I want them to do well, but fuck, man. Like, what's wrong with their attack? What is wrong with their attack? It is absolutely shocking. So, Manly have got to have a good look at themselves. I know they're without Jake Trbojevic and they miss him in the middle. I understand that. I know they're without Schuster, who's still a work in progress with their attack as well. But it's so bad. I mean, the completion rate today was 82%. They did miss a lot of tackles, which was pretty poor. How many tackles did they miss? They missed a few. 45 missed tackles is just not good enough, man. Sharks had 10 errors. Manly had 8. Manly had a 12-4 penalty count. So I was right. They had a lot of penalties go their way, Manly. A 12-4 penalty count. 8 more penalties than the Sharks, and they still couldn't put them away. So that was really poor as well. And Manly had 3-6 against compared to the Sharks 2. So look, I'm not sure where Manly go from here. They have a tough game next week, Manly, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure they play Canberra. Or who do they play next week? Yeah, next Sunday afternoon, 4 o'clock. Manly play the Raiders out at Canberra. So that will be a very interesting challenge. But overall, I thought they were horrible. Manly. Sharks weren't that great either, but they did what they had to do in that second half. They held on, grit defense, and in the end, the Sharks did very well. Now, I want to talk about Tom Trbojevic. A lot of people are talking about Tom at the moment. Honestly, I thought Tommy Turbo was actually pretty decent today. I thought he was good. I thought Tom played well. He got a lot more involved than what he has in previous weeks. Obviously, Tom's not at his best, but I thought Tom was a lot better today. I thought Cherry Evans tried his guts out. I thought Garrick and Parker were good. I thought Paseka was probably Manly's best forward today. Oliver White, too, was decent. Talangi was terrible. Kepi was average. Alloway's got a broken arm, I think, so that's a bit of a blow. I thought Aaron Woods also, believe it or not, Aaron Woods and Paseka were Manly's best forwards today by a mile. For the Sharks, obviously, Kennedy was great. Gatalo Ramian played well. Tracy in the centres did a job. Hines was great. Finucane, Hunt, I thought Hazelton off the bench did some good things along with Jack Williams as well. But in the end, the Sharks got the job done. My man of the match from the Sharks and Manly game. Look, it's a tough one to give it to because the Sharks were on the back foot for a long time in that second half. But my man of the match from the Sharks Manly game is, I don't think you can go past Nico Hines. Again, I know people are going to say we're sucking him off and everyone's too far up his ass, blah, blah, blah. But who else would you give it to today? Nico Hines, his kicking game was great. His game management was very good. I thought Nico Hines was very good today. So I'm going to give Nico Hines the man of the match in the Sharks 20-14 win over the Manly Sea Eagles. But anyway, guys, that's going to conclude the Sunday football review for round 11 for 2023 NRL season. If you guys enjoyed the review, make sure you like the live stream or video, depending on how you're watching. Subscribe to the channel. And thank you for tuning in, guys. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the Team of the Week and with Nathan B. Moore. Also with my State of Origin teams for game 1. I'm going to be doing my Origin 1 team for New South Wales and Queensland tomorrow. So look forward to that one, guys. Nick from Australia's Origin team, if I was the head coach, will be out tomorrow. Anyway, guys, we're out of here. Have a good night. Full time. Knights 46, Titans 26, and Sharks 20, me 14. Until next time, see you in the next one.